pest controls to two guys that can't stay up any later than I can probably. So hopefully somebody else jumps in I can pass controls to. So
Helio, this is the hazard of flat Earth. You try to live a semi-normal life, even if you're kind of retired, but it's like, damn, you know. I mean, I was on the Poncho Pete wagon there for a while, and it was like, go to bed. It's, you know, after I watch the sunrise, I'm like, damn, you know, can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
But that was a year ago.
No. That was two. Yeah, in flat Earth terms, it was less than 2 months ago.
Flat Earth time seems to move slower to me.
I'll see you fellas later.
Yeah, it's been over a year for me.
Man. Thank you,
Thanks,
man.
man.
All right, peace, Matt.
But flat Earth
Joe
time
S.
is.
The Earth is flat. Sorry.
It's hard to believe I've been doing this for 2 years now. It doesn't seem like it. I don't know.
Seems like 20 years, huh?
Yeah. It wears on you, man. It does. I know. Joe S. says the Earth is flat. The Earth
hello,
is
Joe.
flat. Living in the illusion.
Realm.
Joe, type in chat how long you've been chasing the flat Earth. I'm always curious. Now that I'm an old fart flat earther, I'm always curious how long other people have been doing it.
He says
Joe.
10 months.
Cool. Joe, where are you out of? Are you American, South American, Russian?
Back.
What general location of the plane are you from?
What general location of the plane are you from? Toronto, the Canadian faction. Cool.
Oh, he's up there with Chris Rock.
Up north of the 49th.
Yeah.
Canada. I was born in Minnesota. I was close to Canada.
So did you get to catch any of Rogan and Bravo? I heard they did a big podcast tonight, didn't they?
I did not. And you know what it is? I don't even watch the nightly news anymore. I just basically, I get it from other flat earthers, what's going on in the world.
Yeah. I caught like 5 minutes of it in between orders at work. It sounded like Eddie Bravo was holding his ground a little bit. I listened to it. And Rogan was kind of trying to make him admit that flat Earth's stupid. And he's like, no, it ain't, you know. The general theme I got.
Yeah.
Because Bravo seems like he's sincere about it to me, what I've seen his interviews and stuff, especially that when he was talking to the InfoWars babe or whatever. Did you see that one?
I actually stay. Basically, Dan reporting that. Let's see. A guy named Marcellus was a flat earther. I guess that was big news today, this afternoon.
Marcellus.
Basketball player, I think.
Really, not a basketball player. How come we don't have any baseball players? How come we don't have any scientists yet?
Well, because baseball players play on a free Masonic diamond. It's in the square game. Oy vey.
Joe S. says he caught the last of the show. Eddie said Alex Jones is an actor, is a blue belt conspiracy theorist. Blue belt conspiracy theorist.
Blue belt conspiracy. Yeah, and that's what that was the Eddie Bravo quote. He said that Alex Jones is blue belt, you know, in the conspiracy theory realm, basically. That's what Eddie Bravo said about Alex Jones.
Yeah, I'm kind of like
being a
Joe
black
S.
belt, you know. I mean, knowing about the flat Earth, you know. And Joe was he was just like, man, oh man, yeah, I heard it.
Yeah.
Oh, you listen to it?
Well, I'm not going to say where I heard it from, but yeah.
P. Morris was streaming it, wasn't he?
Well, yeah, you were on there for a little bit. That's where I heard it from. That's probably where you heard it from too.
I was on there giving Quintana shit.
Dude, I was giving a bunch of people shit on there.
I'm still trying to recover from Antonio's expose last night, and then of course the night over to P. Mars's hangout, and all of us were over there throwing bricks at him all night. I got tired about 4 o'clock in the morning, and Antonio and Chris and a bunch of other people went off and hammering rocks and plotting and shit. So it's like, what the hell?
Is this normal? Are we supposed to be doing this? You know, I mean, it's like we're grown men.
Well,
but you know what? It is the only thing we can do. This is the battlefield. You know,
right?
You
it's
have
a psychological
battle helmet on your avatar there.
Yeah, because normally, Helio, we would have taken out the crowbars, wrenches, and sticks and beaten the crap out of people, but we're not allowed to do it through a computer.
Doing something like that, we wouldn't make it that far, especially against the enemy that we face. So
we're growing big time, trying to figure out how to do our own forms of psychological warfare, which usually ends up back in our own faces. But
hey, but
this is the new battlefield, brother.
It is, and you know what? And you know, when I have, you know, I need to close my door. No, this is the battlefield for. We cannot take up arms against this government. It's just impossible at this point. We don't have the resources. There's no way. It's just not even possible, and it never was possible for anyone else either. They always control the narrative. So this is the only platform. While we have it now, we have to express our thoughts and learn from each other as well, and enhance our understanding of where we've come from and where we've been, and build it all together into a giant tower, an inferno that burns these motherfuckers out, because it's absolutely insane, and I don't know any other way to do it, and that's why I'm here with you guys all day long. You know.
Yeah. I feel you, man. You know, we're just little small voices out here in the wilderness, but you know, we're doing what we can, right? But you know, if you believe what other people's generally saying, this, you know, besides YouTube, it's like this flat earth crap is growing on the Instagram and the Facebooks and all the other places too. I mean, it seems to be like a groundswell is at least starting now. Would y'all agree with that?
Yep.
I feel like it's been, well, I mean, I've been in it for a long time, and I'm sure both of you guys have too, you know.
A little over 2 years for me, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, I mean, it's like 20 years for me.
Well, conspiracies, I've been since 2001. I didn't believe 9/11 from the get go.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, that's what I'm basically getting at. I mean, I was, you know, before 9/11, I was in libertarian philosophy, and I'm like, this government is totally full of shit. Both sides are just, it's just a puppet show, basically. You know, they're sponsored by corporations, and you can't trust either one of them, no matter how good they talk, you know, and all that stuff. So we just, and then even now at this point, even, you know, like last election, you know, libertarian candidate was Gary Johnson, he was a libertarian candidate in the past, and I actually got, you know, I was part of the Libertarian Party as an activist for a little bit, and boy, that shit put me off even worse than some of the other stuff. So I'm pretty much freaking anarchist at this point.
I mean,
Helio, that's all you can be, man.
Yeah,
that's really all you can be, is a one-man non-governed entity. That's it.
Yeah, it's just like, man, I mean, I'm telling you, I mean, I thought I saw some crazy shit in Democrats and Republicans, but shit, man, libertarians, that are gung-ho about that stuff, you know. I mean, a lot of them, I met some really good people, but I mean, it's just like they're like the left of liberals sometimes, and it's just freaking retarded.
Set it up that way, Helio. You know that now.
Yeah, the whole left-right paradigms it's all a game.
Well, they expanded it into the left, right, and the middle, which was acceptable. But what they did is they shifted the middle over to the left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They actually shifted the conservatives over to the left too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. There is.
Whether they realize it or not, they sure did.
Yeah, there's a meme I posted on Facebook, and it was an awesome meme. It had like it had damn it, I can't remember it. I could pull it on a Facebook page, but I'm not going to. Actually, I am, but since I'm talking about it and there's nobody else saying it. But it's like I'll pull it up. But it shows, it's just a little meme that shows like the liberals, conservatives, libertarian, or no, it shows the liberals, the Republican, or I can't remember now. I'm gonna pull it up.
Well, it's real simple, Helio. Helio, I've been studying this crap for the past 25 years. Okay, my whole thing was in 1992. My older brother gave me a book by a guy named James Perloff called "The Shadows of Power," and that was about who really runs the world, how it really works, and that was my first indoctrination back in '92.
Wow,
that guy's still around, James Perloff. I saw him on. Can't remember. He wrote a book pretty recent, like 2007.
Yeah. Truth is a Lonely Warrior by James Perloff. Yeah.
That guy's got some good shit. Yeah, he's got some good shit.
Oh yeah.
I don't think he's a flat earther yet. I haven't heard anything about him, but
dude, with all the shit that he knows, being a flat earther is the least of his concerns. I mean,
yeah,
I have a big problem. After I learned flat Earth, after I understand flat Earth, after I know flat Earth, IPS came along that turned a lot of people's heads. We don't like the taste of this, but Dylan, is he saying, yeah, the Earth is flat, but watch out because they're still running game on us in the form of the New World Order. And basically, what IPS has done has came out and interpreted that the whole belief system is nothing more or less than another form of religion. It's something that people worship. That's what a religion is. And IPS has got all the big names in flat Earth. Okay. And the only people that are a little bit delinquent are people that just place, and they are more into security of having their paradigm not changed and enlarged because they kind of have grown accustomed to the security of it's flat, we're safe. That's not what's going on. I mean, there's the bigger game that's going on is that the bastards that gave us the ball Earth, they're not happy. They're not happy with that, man. Go ahead, Helio. Sorry.
I don't know. No, I was just here. I found the picture. You see it? See the neo left and the liberal, the alt right, the libertarian in the middle, and the conservative. There ain't nobody over there. There ain't no conservatives.
That's
man,
right,
anymore.
man. And what they did too is they pushed the libertarians out of the middle. And what we now have is the anarchists in the middle.
Got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the middle there. Right?
Yeah, they're the libertarians, but I mean, it's like, I mean, we try to fight. I mean, as a libertarian in the United States, you would be like, I'm fighting for the constitutional principles, you know, but then once I started, when I started communicating with the Libertarian Party, they're freaking liberal, man. And it's just you guys are freaking out of your mind. You got
Yep. Oh, anyway. Look who posted that. Some guy named Anarchy Ball.
Oh, yeah. This is my Facebook page. I mean, my name's Dennis. Everybody knows, whatever.
Anarchy Ball.
And I remember after
cool.
some attack on what was it? No, there was some Muslim attack or whatever, some fake Muslim attack or whatever, and everybody was just like, remember 9/11, the Muslims did this? Or I said, I can't believe there are people who still believe the BS official story about 9/11. Americans are so gullible. Please stop believing the hype from the mainstream media. This is on my main Facebook page. They divide and conquer strategy is obviously working. And then I had to explain to my family, I don't understand what you're talking about. Well, whatever. I don't understand why you believe that bullshit.
I judge my family by how awake they are, and I have to say that let's see, 1, 2, 3 of 5 of us siblings And I would have to say I'm the most awake, and I have a 52-year-old brother that's working on it.
That's Gary Webb right there. You see him? He's awake. He was awake, but he got killed. Because he told everybody about the cocaine problem, and that was caused by, and they were bringing cocaine through Arkansas, where I'm at.
The Clintons, that was good. Mina connection.
The Mina airport. I saw a couple good documentaries about that, and I read a book about that.
You won't have to host refugees if you stop destabilizing their countries. What you think? What you think about that?
Well, see, there's that.
I love this one right here.
It's like that famous rapper once said, "If you don't start no shit, there won't be no shit." So
I just told my neighbor that. 13 cents. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just reading off memes. You probably had something way more profound to say.
No. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just reading off a meme here. This with the Rockefeller dude prints off $100 bill for 13 cents. Loans the bill to the U.S. government for $100 plus interest. Thug life.
Yeah. And then the government employs its fractional reserve system and makes 10 times that amount off of every $100 bill.
Yep. Every time $1 goes into the bank, $10 goes back out with the interest.
Yes, sir. You guys seen that cartoon? What was it called? I'll stop sharing my Facebook page now. I'm getting a little freaked out about it. It doesn't matter. Everybody knows who I am. But anyway, what's that movie? That cartoon that they made about the Rothschild, the banking system. What's it called?
Cartoon? It's
a cartoon. Oh, I'll find that on YouTube, and everybody needs to see this film. It's about a little over an hour long, but it's an excellent.
It's not a cartoon. It's an animated documentary.
It's an animated documentary. Yes, it is. You know what I'm talking about?
You got Sharon Byrne out in your chat.
Sharon needs to jump on in.
Shruminati flying karate. I guess that's Shroomy. I don't know. You know Shroomy, don't you?
Yeah, I know Shroomy.
On a plane came in and said, "Fuck off." So is everything okay on a plane?
That's probably a sock account, man.
Could be.
Yeah, that's what I do. I spend all my time.
No, that's probably a plane. Shit, I don't know.
Is this person real or is this person not real?
That's probably.
Are you really Shroomy? Type fill a chat full of sixes if you're really Shroomy right now.
Well, I mean, as long as whoever Shruminati, whatever can.
Oh, I know how to take care of this. Watch this.
Yeah, I'm sure you recognize that account from other things. Now,
well, Dennis, what happens is you run trolls all day long. You can tell just by the frequency of the posting and the stupidity of the name.
I know. I'm just saying I want to keep it a little more light here than a lot of channels.
I'm bring them back, but now what I'm going to do is
I'm not saying to bring him back. I didn't get to read it.
See if he's a sock. No, this is just standard operating procedure, how you take care of things. And we find that it's a lot easier to ban people and bring them back than to time them out if we made a mistake. Okay.
Well, I don't necessarily want to ban the sock accounts either unless they're just being ridiculous and typing stupid freaking shit about and all that shit.
I'm on Shruminati Flying Karate. He's got 0 subs, 0 content. Okay. Put together, basic.
Yeah, Nine Angel says it won't be Shroomy. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's not Shroomy. Shroomy would say he was Shroomy. He would come in. I mean, if he knows me, so he would come in on his account if he found it. But whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm sorry I jumped, Dennis, but this person was making a mess out of chat and he was harassing Sharon and shit. So.
Okay, well that's fine. That's fine. That's what I was saying.
One thing he said that I wanted to bring up about the IPS guy. I mean, I'm not trying to speak for the guy, but I did listen to him some. But it's not like to me, just my opinion. It's not like he's bashing religion. He's just trying to get people to see that religion is just another part of their control structure, the organized religions, which, you know, I kind of believed. Like, I was raised a Christian and everything, but I never got into the organized churches and stuff. You know what I mean? So
yes, Dave. Okay, I'm glad you brought it up, and I'm glad. And this is nothing. I really wanted to get in this conversation, and it was kind of leading that way when Sharon's first hangout was. I mean, not Sharon. Candy's first hangout was cut out.
yeah,
They were starting to talk about this, you know, about some of the manipulation and the, you know, all of the churches. Well, I'm not see. I've been wanting to have a platform where I can.
Mind, man. Speak your mind. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, just
Okay,
say what
speak
you
my
feel.
mind about this. All
I know
right.
you don't want to generalize too much, but just say what's on your mind. You know.
No, I don't have to generalize. I was a fundamental Christian for years and years. I was raised Catholic, and I was a Assembly of God worship leader in a church, in a very large church for many years. So, I mean, I studied the Bible extensively, and I have knowledge about those type of things. So,
Fair enough.
And actually, and at the time I was a truth seeker, and nobody else in the church was, you know. So I'd ask questions about, you know, certain pagan practices that, you know, that were going on in the church, you know, that our Bible taught us against. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that nobody cared about that really, except for me. Well, I did, but I still had to kind of do it anyway, because otherwise I'd just be like, you know, sitting at home, you know, at the time. But I still wanted to learn more about the Bibles, you know, which I did. I learned a lot about the Bible, but I didn't understand how you could just totally dismiss these pagan practices as, you know, American tradition, because it's not American tradition. It's a pagan philosophy which is it's proven that it's been put upon us by our governments and organized churches, because they built the entire city of Washington, D.C. as a monument to the god Baal, because there is a giant obelisk, which is called the Washington Monument.
Yeah.
And the entire city is built out into an upside down pentagram, which is a symbol of Baphomet, with the monument, you know, is his large shaft, which is Baal's shaft. I mean, there's a combination of all the religions when it comes, and this is what you're right about IPS, because he's right about this, but he's wrong in other things. He's wrong in other aspects of this. You know what I mean? As far as understanding, you know, Christian philosophy. Is my shit breaking up? Somebody?
No, you're good. You're good. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You're good, man.
Yeah. You know, I feel like a lot of people come into the flat Earth topic, which, I mean, there's so many different people from different backgrounds. It's really hard to differentiate, you know, and until you get to know someone where they've come from and what they understand about Christian philosophy. Now, if you come from church, and you know, if you've been into Protestant church here in America, or Catholic church, or yeah, it's just I'm in the South, so I mean, most people are Protestant here. So, but even when I was, you know, for all those years when I was in the Protestant church, so many different denominations down here in the South, that we got to, you know, I mean, just like I do now, I like to find more information. You know, once I'm passionate about a subject, I try to find more information about that subject. So now I'm looking into denominations. Especially, I was raised Catholic, but I got quote unquote saved at about 30 years old by myself in my living room. It was a spiritual experience, and that's where I'm not going to tell my whole story right now, but
Dennis, I want to hear it.
Okay, damn it.
Say whatever you want to say, man. It's your show.
Okay, Dennis, you know what your problem is?
I didn't intend to put on a show tonight.
Dennis, kick it out, brother. The Creator got us together for a reason, and He wants you to talk tonight.
72 says he wants to join. You got a way to link him?
I may be able to. Hold on. But anyway, so okay, so then at about 30 years old, after my 20s were wild and crazy nights. These are crazy, 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 crazy nights. And they were all a lot of crazy, crazy nights. And I wrote some good music and had fun. And also had a kid. He'll be 21 this year. He's freaking awesome. And he's playing music. And I can't wait to see him. He's badass. I mean, he was playing in a band when he's 15 years old. I mean, it's like hardcore shit, you know, screaming stuff. But he's not even doing that anymore, which I do sometimes as well.
How music do you play now?
It's heavy shit.
Guitar. He's a guitar guy.
Like
I'm a guitar
metal,
singer.
rock, metal, and stuff.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
He's badass. He's badass.
But anyway, there was one night. I mean, me and his mom had split up, and I was working and had to drive, and I would try to get him as much as I could or whatever. She was living in Little Rock, and I was living in Jacksonville. It's like 20 miles different, you know, different ways. But anyway, I had to drive a lot to spend time with him, and I had to work and stuff, and but then I was also trying to, you know, find times to, you know, play with, you know, I wasn't in a band at the time, but I was trying to form another band and get into, we had what was called Mid-South Metal Society, and I figure it's still there in Little Rock. But that kind of fell through. But in that time, one night I was sitting at home by myself, and like I said, I've been raised Catholic, and then even after that, you know, Catholicism, when you're raised up, they don't really encourage you to learn the Bible, to read it and understand Christian teachings. They're kind of they're more ritualistic, and you understand, you know, certain things, and then not that they don't ever teach the Bible, but I just never felt like I was encouraged to understand the Bible. And that's the way it was.
In your whole grade school, it was all Catholic school? Is that what you said?
No, I never went to Catholic school. I went to public school, but I was raised Catholic in the Catholic Church. Every week I was at the Catholic Church. But I was never, you know, if you're in a, I mean, were you say you were raised Christian, Dave?
Yeah, I was raised like First Christian Church was my.
Yeah, so you were taught the Bible, right? I didn't feel like I was taught the Bible, you know, when I went.
For me, it was more like my parents dragged me to church every Sunday, and I never really got into it. And I never really trusted the whole organized religion thing. You know, but anyway, go ahead, Dennis.
No. That's good to hear, because I kind of felt the same way. Being raised Catholic, I never really got into that religion, even though the most times that I had some really excellent spiritual experiences in my teenage years, I was involved in the Catholic youth organization, and I made some really good friends there. And we'd go to church camp, and they would have some speakers there that would teach about the Bible, you know, and they were really good speakers or whatever. And so that may or may not have been just good word salad to lead you up into a spiritual experience. But I will not discount the spiritual experiences that I've had, and that's why I will not discount. See, this is such a long story, and you guys are asking me to tell all of it.
Dennis, say it, Dennis. Come on.
I can relate to you talking about having spiritual experiences like one-on-one with the Creator. I've had those.
Yeah, I had them when I was like young, like 14, 15, laying before the Catholic altar when I didn't even understand anything about religion. I just knew that God created me, and that, I don't necessarily believe the Bible that way anymore, but I definitely know I was connected to my Creator, and I still am. I feel more connected to Him now than I ever have.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say I've actually talked to God or anything, but I've had, just feelings like kind of thing. Does that make any sense?
Exactly, Dave. Yes,
Yeah.
I get you. I'm so crazy. I'll tell people I talk to God, but whatever.
Man, I can. You know what, man?
I know it's just not fashionable to tell people that you communicate with your Creator.
Right.
Now, obviously, it's not in words. It's more like in feelings and intuitive thoughts.
Right. It's mainly intuition is a key word there.
Right.
It's something inside. You just know.
Right. So, I mean, people can pussyfoot around and say that I have to read a Bible and I got to go to church. And it's like, I'm almost 60 years old. I know how it works. Okay.
Yeah.
Just saying, Dennis.
No, but then at that point, I mean, like after I graduated high school, I had a full tuition scholarship for choir going to UCA, Central Arkansas, and I've never been an academic. Oh, Dale, you're not smart. You've never been an academic. Well, I never have been.
Dennis, can I interrupt again, Dennis?
Yeah.
Dennis, you probably weren't an academic then, but listening to you talk and looking at your Facebook, you're certainly an academic now. So
you've definitely reached a level of intelligence that's way beyond just being able to regurgitate information back to a professor.
Yes. As long as you're not a parrot, Dennis, and it's readily apparent that you're not, your own mind, you think for yourself. You're as academic as anyone needs to be. I'm quite sure, Dennis, that you're probably close to being some form of a genius. But next.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to brag or anything, but no, I'm just playing. No, but anyway, I dropped out of college. I had a full tuition scholarship, and I dropped out because all the classes. I stayed for my music classes. I had concert choir and chamber choir, and it was pretty grueling. I had 18 hours my first semester in college, but 4 of them were voice lessons. So I had concert choir, chamber choir, music history, music theory, all that stuff the first year. And then my by freaking English 101 and all that stuff, which I went to like two of those English 101 classes, and I was like, I ain't writing no freaking papers. Anyway, so then I was going to be a rock star, so I didn't have to do college anymore. But that never happened. But that's what happened with that. And so then I got in a band with a guy who was he might consider himself a Bible scholar, but he has some really weird views. I mean, he's a lot like me. We're actually brothers of the same mind. Because I even introduced the flat Earth topic to him, and he was like, that's a possibility, but I don't think he's ever even gonna go look into it because I'm sure he's probably afraid it was going to take him because he's got other stuff going on. But he wrote most of the lyrics in that band, and that's where I started learning a lot of things about the Bible, and that kind of led me into a different understanding, leading me away from, Catholicism, which never taught me deeper things about the Bible. They just taught me religion, and rituals. I mean, and the basic stories of, the holidays, which that's going to be another thing that I want to get into, which they're not holidays. They're not holy days. They're pagan festivals, but.
Well, the original religion was corrupted along the line, right? In general, They set up the whole Christmas time and Easter time and all that crap.
Well, and I always wondered, since we're right past Easter, and I think I brought this up on another show, and it might have been Candy's show, but as far as Easter goes, like, there's a lot of debate about when Christ was born and what date you should celebrate that on. But as far as when it comes to the Passover, which is supposed to be the Christian Passover, the sacrifice of Jesus, he died on the cross on the Passover, just like they supposedly traditionally celebrate it, at the same time the Jews do. Okay, so every year the Passover is on the same day. If it's true Christian practicing and Jesus was sacrificed on the Passover, why don't we celebrate the Passover instead of Easter, which is a pagan holiday with bunnies and eggs? Why do we call it
Helio? I don't know if that's a sincere question or if you're being rhetorical, but
no, I'm being kind of rhetorical because I've presented the question to many Christians who are like, I just don't want to think about it because I just have to disrupt our tradition.
Yeah. Well, Helio, here is what it's come down to me, and I've spent 25 hard years trying to look for truth, brother. And the only words that are coming to my mind as you're speaking is welcome to the. Are you getting me?
I lost your audio.
Yeah, your audio went out. Say it again.
We missed
I'm sorry.
Last sentence.
25 hard years of basically what I came up against listening to you, and I've already realized this, is all these religions, and I really hate to say it, and I'm going to be damned to hell by a bunch of people, but it's all about control systems. How to control the masses of people.
Yeah, I mean, it's talk about your divide and conquer strategy. What about give everybody different religions,
Dave, yeah.
Hey, but guess what's on top of their church? All of the Christian churches, what's on the very top of it?
Pagan symbol.
It's a penis.
It's a
freaking penis on top of all the churches.
What does it represent? What does it represent?
It's a freaking penis. It's all Baal worship.
Yes. Now, all the people are ignorant of this. And that has broken my heart. I've known this way before Flat Earth. I mean, I've known this for years. And I've tried to express to people that if you put that on top of the church, you know what that represents, right? And I was a Christian, I'm not necessarily subscribing to Christianity more, mainly for that reason, but for other reasons as well. But I try to tell Christians when I was a Christian that this steeple on top of your church represents, this is a symbol, just, this obelisk, and they're not all obelisks, because the obelisk is a four-sided with the, little thing on top. They're shaped different, but you can always recognize every church pretty much has some type of steeple on it, and it's pointing up, and that represents the erected penis of Baal. And you confront your pastor about that? No. You just
one of those things you keep to yourself, right?
It's like, no, that's not what it means. Whatever, man. Just collect your freaking thousands of dollars and run and freaking get the fucking Easter bunny to come and ride in on a Harley for Easter and all that shit. Come on, man.
I'm going to put out a 5-minute warning because I have to go to bed here soon. So somebody needs to jump in here. I know ADR don't want to stay up all night. Neither does Dennis, do you?
I can't. I have to be at work in like 4 hours.
I got to be up in like 4 hours.
You got to be where, Dennis?
I have to be at work I have to be at work in 5 hours. So
yeah. What are you doing for work these days, if I can ask?
I make cabinets.
Cool.
Oh, woodworking. Yeah. Cool.
I'm a woodworker. I'm excellent. I'm badass at it.
Yeah, cool. I was working in a custom cabinet shop at 16.
Oh yeah,
That was some badass stuff, dude. Yeah, we would
hurt.
make
My hands hurt. I'm too old for that.
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
But you got 17 viewers. It's a chance for a couple people to get on here and talk, because all three of us ain't gonna be on here much longer. But Dennis said he'd run it let it keep running if you got somebody trustworthy on here, right?
Yeah. If anybody wants to jump in, or I mean, if I fall asleep, it'll just be open. I don't need it. I mean, worst thing that could happen, somebody freaking come in and shut it down and it'll be done.
But before I peace out here, I just want to clear up. I wasn't trying to bash religion or nothing, but to me, it's just, when you wake up to this whole flat earth thing, almost anything becomes suspect at that point. At least to me, it does.
The discussion.
When you realize you get lied to for 500 years, you don't know where to point the fingers, but you know they got to be pointed somewhere. And you're talking about control systems and stuff, governments and religions, banks.
Well, the discussion needs to be had, and there's another aspect of modern Protestant, in America at least, Protestantism, that I have a very, very big problem with myself. And it's one of the main reasons that I totally freaking hate the modern idea of Christianity and what's going on in churches, which I call Israel worship.
Oh yeah, brother.
If you look,
it's the most disgusting thing ever.
Well, if you look at the amount of money our government funds Israel, and then on top of that, there's uncounted billions from all these churches all across America.
And how many pastors in all these churches every freaking Sunday, which I was under one, preach Israel. We got to support Israel. We got to be behind Israel. We got to do this all over and over and over again, not getting into what Judaism is really about. I'm not going to get into that right now, but
yeah, it's going to be a G.
But it's just really unnatural for all of the Christian churches in America to fully support Israel like that. That is unnatural, and that's one thing I want to get into, and I can give details about that. I really want to do it when there's more people watching, so that
we can look at the basic overview of being unnatural, just creating a country out of the. They just picked this one spot of land and said, "Okay, here's the country."
No, they didn't pick it. They planned it,
man.
We don't
care all the fuckers are living there right now. It's Israel now. That was
happened during World War II. After they made the deal with. Yeah. Well, they made the deal with Hitler. That's what he was sending. Anyway, that's another discussion for another time. I'm not prepared to go through all of that right now. But
yeah, that's a deep one, man.
And I'd like to get somebody that has more knowledge about that to start, to have an actual conversation about that and what it pertains, connecting what happened in World War II and how it's been manipulated through the Christian church here, and how Israel's created and all that stuff, and then why are they so it's Israel worship, man. Every Christian, especially Protestant Christian churches, are Israel, all the time. It's like, what? I don't know, but anyway, that was, I had a big problem with that way before I found flat Earth. But anyway, because mainly because of like Tex Mars and Edward Hendry and stuff, the people he'd have on his show. But it's just like once you found out about the religion, they don't worship the same God. I mean, that religion, it's the way it's set up. And so that now I'm generalizing, I'm saying something where I'm not prepared to present the information. So anyway.
Are you looking at Chad? Because 72 Human put his hangout up there if you want to give him a link, he said.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't find it.
I sent it to him. Oh wait, my hangout was 72. I'm pretty sure.
I couldn't find it about.
He put an obelisk at the end of his statement. It's funny.
I'm pretty sure I sent him the link. Hold on.
It's not an obelisk, Dave. That's two hands clasped together.
Oh, okay. My bad.
That's all right.
My eyesight. Those little icons are hard to see sometimes.
Yeah.
I think there's something totally different in what they are.
Yeah.
But well, guys, it's good talking to you. I'm sorry I got to peace out, but work calls.
It's all right, Dave. I'm going to get in trouble talking to Helio because I want to hear his story.
Yeah, I'll listen to it while I go to sleep here. Y'all can lullaby me to sleep.
I'm a bad.
I don't want to.
I'm a bad boy.
I don't want to see him using power tools with no sleep, though.
It would be the first time.
Good night. Good night, everybody.
I appreciate you.
Dave.
Out, Dave. I appreciate it.
All right. We hope Candy's okay. Shout out to Candy again. I hope she's all right.
Yeah, man. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, that was weird. I hope it's just a drop phone. But I know she's got a computer too, so I don't know.
I'm trying to get 70-second bang link, man. I'm tripping here.
Dennis, how do you get 70-second a link if you can't find an about page on his site?
Well, actually, I haven't looked on his page. I don't think. Let me see what it got here.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't have an about page. Do you have to go to Google Plus to get an about page and link the two accounts? I think that's what you have to do to be able to get messages.
Yeah, but
I've been wanting to find that out because everybody that's involved in the community should have that set up so it'd be a lot easier for us to communicate.
Yeah. But well, the whole thing is I started on the internet and even before YouTube was around, and now there's just so many ways to connect up. I can't figure them all out. Kind of keep banging your head into new places, and sometimes things work, and before you know it, you're kind of connected.
I'm gonna go ahead and somebody jumping in, I think.
Let's see who it could be. Flat Earth Dude is back.
Flat Earth Dude.
No, that was 50 minutes ago. I don't know what that thing was.
Oh, sure. It bling blinged. It might have been Candy messaged me back or something. I put the message in chat, but I retracted it. But it doesn't matter. I mean, whatever. If you guys, there's nothing. But anyway, so getting back to what I was saying about after my my 20s.
Yep.
When I was working and playing music, around town. I even went on tour a couple times around the U.S. Never made any money, but we just had a good time. And had a small record deal that really didn't turn out to be anything. But it was mostly because we signed the record deal with one group of people, and then about 3 other people. The two or three of those people dropped out of the band, and it just didn't work. But anyway, that was that's just part of whatever it is growing up. But
hey, 70-second, what's up?
Hey, you in there?
Yep, he's in.
Hey, what's up, fellas?
Hey, brother.
How you doing, man?
Just medium rare, but I'm getting there.
Cooking.
So, what do you think about our crazy conversation so far?
I'm just, yeah, I'm not ready. Not ready, man. I got to get bullet points before I just come out and just, waste up bandwidth.
What do you find interesting about it so far?
Humans. I love people, man.
All right. So where are you at 72nd? What part of the States?
SoCal.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm in San Diego, San Francisco, LA, Washington State.
Lower left corner of Cali.
Yeah.
I'm in Arkansas.
Cool.
Yes.
Territory.
Yeah, what happened? Did he ever like move back in there? What happened?
I think he's living on the island, man, where all the dead people go, like all the dead actors that die 3 at a time.
That's what I was saying. He caught the plane to the next plane.
Have you seen him lately? He looks like one of the zombies off The Walking Dead. Have you seen him?
Yeah, it's nutty, man.
That's pretty crazy. He was pretty good looking when he first went in office. He doesn't look anything like that anymore.
I was going to say, he's got to be pretty old now, right?
Yeah, but do you know you notice how much the presidents age through the years? And it's like they get in office, they age, like 5 years every year.
72nd. How come you call yourself 72nd human? I've always been curious.
It's just because this number that haunts me everywhere I go. It's like a numerology thing. Like I'll drive out of my driveway in the first, like a car on wherever I'm going. License plate has it in the number. I move somewhere. It's the block is the 27 or 70. It's just a number that haunts me. And I've gone through this 1,000 times, being like, "Am I making this happen? Am I?" Gotten to the point, since I was like 13 years old, where it's not me like looking for it. It's like shoving the number like in my face all the time. And I've heard all the jokes about the Goetia and 72nd Solomon demons or whatever that is. I don't know. I've tried. If I had the my computer like took a dive on me. So if I could create content or I write it down in like a journal about how it's just this freaking number, and it's like, I'm not going to get all weirded out, but I'll go down that route for a second. Like we're all in like some computer thing or whatever. I'm not sure about that, but all I know is what I'm experiencing is the numbers like everywhere I go, and it like just comes up in every movie, every license plates in front of me. People from Utah and California cutting me off just to put the number in my face. It's kind of gets annoying after a while. And I could come up with like 1,000 different things to tell you, but and if you told anyone, that you'd be like, "Oh, that guy's just like uber paranoid or something," or maybe he's like manifesting it. Like, you can come at it from like 6 different angles, but it just freaking haunts me since like I can remember. You know what I mean? And then as I get
72nd,
older,
I would
go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I was just going to ask you your age if you wanted to offer it up. I'm 59. Cut out?
No. I'll just come out like just all cards on the table. I've had like identity theft like 4 times in really really bad ways, but I was born in 78. I'm 39. What's happening?
Okay. All right, cool. Good. No, the only reason I asked this seemingly stupid question of people is that 20, I thought a certain way. When I was 40, I thought a certain way. And now that I'm coming up on 60, I'm thinking even another different way. It's just my way of kind of understanding where people are at a little bit, and it's probably not even all that valid, but
well, I get that.
It's just how I do things.
Do numbers like follow you around? Or some people see that 1111 thing, or some people will see 1134 and they're like, "Oh, that's hell upside down."
Yeah, well, 72. Guess my birthday is the Fibonacci sequence. I don't know. Do numbers follow me around?
Oh, that's cool.
0, 1, 2, 3,
You know
5, 8.
That's really interesting you mentioned that, man. I wish that when I was like in grade school that someone told me about that. It would have totally changed my whole paradigm on the way I view the world. The phi and Fibonacci is just it's a deep rabbit hole, but I mean I think it there's so much distraction in every way you can think of, you know, not just like north, west, south, and you know what you could believe in this model or that model or whatever, but to have that one constant that goes through the way your hand is made, the way the pineapple grows, pine cones, all that. I mean, it just keeps going and going, and you could get like really deep into it and like freak yourself out, or you can just, you know, come to peace with it. But I mean, I just yeah, don't get me started, man. I just came in just like hang in the background. You know what I mean? But
yeah, all right. I'm sorry. Yeah,
no, it's
but
cool,
you know,
man.
I'm just.
It's not you. It's me.
Yeah,
It's
I'm just
not
voracious,
you,
hungry to get other people's points of view.
No,
And
I'm good.
I know
Hey,
we pretty much.
go ahead. No, I wouldn't be here if I wasn't either, man. I met a lot of cool cats in here. Like whether people agree on this or that or the other thing. Like I said, I just like humans, like looking for answers and whatnot. I've always been in that since I was, even before I was like 4 foot tall, probably, you know, just back in grade school. Haven't you heard my whole thing? I don't want to get into that, but pretty sure like everyone else has heard it in here, and it's like I don't want to. You know what I'm saying? Like, have you ever?
man. I think it's been a while since you've been on air, man. You
yeah,
I
know, man. But have you ever heard of this thing where like, say somebody has gone through something, like say you're like a psychologist, right? And then like somebody went through an event. I'm not saying that's what happened, but say they went through their life experience, and then every time they have to go to another doctor or another group or another friend, they have to retell and relive the whole thing over again. It's kind of like it's kind of like beating a dead horse at that point. But I mean, I can kind of like wrap it up in a nutshell, but it probably wouldn't do any. You know what I mean?
You never know, and I always say that. I always feel like that. It's like, you know, you assume that other people have heard your story because we're running the same circles, but at the same time,
there might be someone that hasn't.
There might be someone listening, and you might say something a different way, or that might touch someone in whatever way that they can relate to. So, I mean, and it actually, as you tell your story, you can bring out something that maybe you, in a way that you didn't really, you never know what's going to happen. In other words,
yeah, I copy that. Yeah, that's why like I'm so usually like timid or
I am too,
apprehensive to get in here. You know what I mean? Because you're kind of just like bearing everything to like a cyber area. You know what I mean? It's just, you know, and people that have like people, not me, but just talk about like some other person, not me, that has like trouble with trust or has been like exploited in the past. You're gonna be more cautious when you come on the platform and like try to be like, oh, this is what my deal is, and then I mean, it's brutal out here. I mean, whether you hear my story or not, it's nuts out here, and people are savage. You know what I mean?
You've got friends, and you already know that. You know, from some of the chats and stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't look at it, man.
Just speaking generalities about you know, you probably kind of got the feel of how you communicate on here, and whether you want to be real blunt about certain topics or anything. If you're just sharing something from the heart, you know, you've been around a while, man. I think you get the hang of it, man.
Yeah, like I could just bring up topics and kind of like hang and give like my 2 cents, and then there's like a whole another sense where on the other end, there's people are like, is this person even real? And that's just like inherent with the cyber realm we live in these days. So I get that people. try to probe and like figure. I'm not saying like you're doing it nefariously or whatnot, but you're just like, I've never met you or talked to you, so you kind of want to get like a taste of what this person is coming from. So I get that. You know what I mean? But on the other hand, you have to also, I mean, it's just a balance of all things. But I'm trying to get all deep on you guys. Dang.
No,
dude, man, what do you think this is
like
about?
Conversations. Come on. be real with us, and we'll be real back. Okay.
Hey, it's all real, baby, all the time, man.
Yeah,
well,
I hear you, man.
And you know what? We were talking about this earlier. This is the battlefield. I mean, and you know what? Man. We all have to wake up. We all have to wake up, or else we are all doomed. We're going to be the Borg. We are going to be the Borg. We're going to feel like we have some type of personal connection, you know, we have a person that we are, but we're all connected to the Borg. I think
we're already there, kind of.
No, we are already there, but people like us can see
it's like the last stance. Like,
yeah, damn right. That's why I'm standing up, motherfucker. I don't want to be the Borg.
Yeah, it's what I'm saying. Like, you know what I mean? Back to the hills and start like farming. You know what I mean?
Run to the hills. You don't know. I ain't running the hills. I'm running.
I don't know, man.
I'm gonna be like the Matrix. I'm coming fucking Neo.
Well, that's,
you know, middle. I'm gonna blow that shit up.
Oh, let me bring this back to a different perspective. I know a lot of people don't agree on like where or what, whether it's geo or helio or spinning or stationary or turtle shell, torus field. I mean, you could go on and on, man. But
of course you could.
Here's the thing, man, is I've been putting this comment in lately in any chat. Like, maybe we need to stop observing in 3 dimensions. Maybe there's like another, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know about how your dreams have been going lately, or if anyone's a dreamer in here, but I think dreams tell a lot of what's going on and what you're dealing with. Maybe personally or spiritually. I mean, who knows? I can't tell you what you're going through, but I know what I'm going through. But I think that a big problem is us as where we are in this realm, trying to observe things in 3 dimensions. It's obviously there's a lot more than 3 of them, and we're just waking up to another, and it might be implemented or forced. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what? I actually think that it's different for everyone, just like it always has been before. Like, from you know, before finding about, you know, flat Earth is a pretty freaking deep topic. But prior to finding that out, we all have had our own paths, and you know, especially people that even find flat Earth. Most of them have already been some type of skeptic or truther, you know, prior to finding the topic, or else they wouldn't even look into it. So we've all had our own paths, you know, spiritually, or I mean, there's a lot of atheists that have found flat Earth and they're not atheists anymore. So you bring some of your philosophy in. So we are trying to, you know, it's really a difficult thing to figure out how to meld this all together without, you know, without offending each other, or without and to build it into something that just to expose the total corruption and lies and deceit and the the end of the beginning and the beginning of the end. And I don't freaking know, man. It's like, I kind of don't want, if this truth were to come out, you know, the way that we don't even have an idea of what the implications are, you know, I mean, because we actually have a functioning financial system, even though it's totally bankrupt and absolutely less than, you know, trillions of dollars broke. It's still functioning. If everybody figured out this truth at one time, you know, which, I mean, truth is truth. I mean, you can't stop it, but man, okay. So that would be another opportunity for the elite to manipulate us into another situation, you know, which would be like Red Dawn or something, you know. It's just like,
what, on your mailbox?
I don't have any
That's what I'm saying. Like, it might not be on your mailbox. It could be on your, you know, like you heard this whole like they got a dot on your mailbox. It's red or blue or green or whatever. You heard that thing, right?
No, I haven't heard that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like we're talking like Alex. We're talking like 5 years ago, Alex Jones stuff. But you got to like a dot, and like this family gets taken out if it's a red dot. This one gets taken away because there's like an engineer in the house, or this one gets taken away because they got arch negative someone.
That wouldn't surprise me, because that's what happened
what
after Nazi Germany, and they brought the scientists over.
That's what and we didn't like that. Never paper clipped. We didn't like really leave that behind. So what do you call it? It just it fascinates me that whether people believe in whatever model or whatever you're living on, that all these type of creative outside thinkers and questioners and whatnot have all been corralled into these little tiny spaces in the interweb or net, which you can call it. You know what I mean? And it just, and a lot of us like, and then you'd be like, and then the paranoia goes on, and it's like, oh, what's this person doing? Like, are they here just to troll? Are they here to F with people? And then some people just might be having like, you know, ish and giggles or whatnot, but it seems like there's a collective of likely minded people that have, and you can call it an algorithm or whatnot, but eventually we've all like been segregated into these little tiny pockets of cyberspace. And that's kind of hard to deny, no matter what you what you believe in. You know what I'm saying?
And that's true. And that's kind of even though we are bouncing brilliant ideas off of each other and learning so much from each other, how far can that knowledge go past this point? And I do believe that there are more people coming in every day, you know, and some drop in, some stay for a while, some leave, but some stay for
it's
longer.
It's
like
like kind of dangerous in here. Seriously, you know what I mean? I mean, I don't want to freak anybody out, but like you talking about like night bots like scrubbing IP addresses and people in chat like talking about like this whole doxing thing. Where the hell did that come from? I was like, really? That happens? Well, oh, I guess that's what they call what happened to me like 8 months ago. And it was like, really? Like, what? You got a question asked? Why don't you just ask the person? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've always found that
that's just effed up, man. Seriously.
Hey, man, I've always found that I mean, just I think on my main page I have my full name, and I'm in Arkansas, so
right.
I mean, it probably wouldn't be too hard to find me, but you know, I just really.
Well, I wouldn't like go digging unless I like was.
Yeah, but somebody probably already has. Some people. I mean, I've been on here for a long time, so probably somebody already has an idea of, you know, generally where I'm at, but I just really don't. Honestly, like I was telling ADR, he's got the war helmet on right there. This is the only war that we have to fight. You know, if I have to die for this, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. I can't, I mean, I can fire a gun, but I don't want to kill anyone. I want the truth before I want to shoot anybody in the head over it.
Let me come full circle on you right now. When you guys were talking about people, you guys were talking about religion and spirituality and stuff. And I kind of typed something in there. Not sure if you saw it, but I think everyone's got their own way of understanding and coping and realizing something. Now, say if you were, I'm not saying you, say if somebody was raised like Baptist, Protestant, Jewish, Christian, whatever, right? And that didn't take, or say if they had like some like Ray Kurzweil type of upbringing where like the parents taught them every aspect of every religion, and then the person turned into a nutter that wants to turn your brain into like an AI neural network interface. But everyone's got their own little path to go on. And say if like you experienced or I experienced something, I'm not saying it's religion, but like say if I actually found something and I labeled it something to make my brain understand that, you know what I'm saying? Because I've gone through this like every which way. You know, try to debunk my own salvation. But you know what I'm saying? But I mean, if I had something that happened, it's hard for me to. I'm not going to shove it down anyone's throat. But and on the same page, or on the flip side of that, I don't really agree with a lot of the stuff that brought me to my understanding of where I'm at spiritually today. You know what I mean? But that's just me. And I'm, you know what I'm saying? I'm not here to preach or, you know, make anyone think it's this way or that way. I just respect everyone's views, and we're here just figuring it out. You know
well, you know what? I think that you coming on here and saying that is exactly where, like, you know, I've been a fundamental Christian for a long time. I've learned how to listen to the Creator. I don't understand it that way, not through the Christian teaching that way anymore. And I'm coming out now. I'm not a Christian. I got saved. I got baptized in the Holy Spirit as a Pentecostal Christian, spoke in tongues, all that stuff for many years. I don't practice that anymore. I don't feel that way about it. But
can I stop you right there, or do you?
Yes, yeah, sure. Ask me a question about that.
Like, you say you got saved. That's probably like you can get saved like just reading the thing out of the, you know, the Bible. That it's like short scripture. I'm not like a theologist in any means, but if you made like the outward, you know, show of like being baptized, you know, maybe with brethren or getting dunked in some water somewhere.
Yes, but I got baptized.
Whether that happened or not, at some point you just said you were saved, right? I want to ask you, did you notice anything happening like that was undeniable to you?
Absolutely. For like 2 weeks, I felt like I was walking on air.
And
it was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. It was incredible.
And this is where I get into the weird part is like, is it like, and I'm not trying to like base down on any Christians, because I've always been kind of like left field when it comes to this, but I just know what I've experienced. And like I said, I'm a highly analytical, you know, I you know, dig into thing, meticulous, right? I'm just like, did that really happen? Was it because I was in this environment? Was it because this outward thing that, you know, is it cycle? Is it, what do you call that? The medicine. What do you call that? It's a medicine. They give it to you, and then like it's, what do you call that thing? It's like
placebo.
There you go. Yeah, that can happen. Because I mean, even like if you don't believe in that stuff, right? You could be hanging out with some people that are high as F on something, and you might just like kind of absorb it somehow and get into this mind state of like, oh yeah, I'm tripping too, but I'm not really tripping. Or you can get in the state where like, this guy's a drunk asshole and I can't stand you.
You know what the funny thing is though?
What's that?
I was by myself and I was drunk. And the next day, well, I didn't wake up because I didn't go to sleep. And all I could think about was trying to figure out how I could learn more about spirituality, about Christianity, and go to the church that I used to go to. And within a couple of weeks, I was, you know, full time. I was like trying to find Bible studies. I'm talking about, I was on meth. And I was by myself, drinking, smoking weed, you know, meth, everything. And just I flipped on TV and there was a preacher, but it wasn't necessarily what he said. I felt it was just the timing. And so this is where I kind of have a problem with people that haven't experienced something like that, where I have experienced profound spiritual experiences through my life prior to that as well.
Prior to being saved, right?
Yeah, what at that point I called being saved, because I became a Protestant saved person at that point. But I had some profound spiritual experiences before that as well. So I don't know. I guess I'm just probably more sensitive to it. And so that's just really hard for me when I begin to talk to someone that has never had an experience like that, or is like an atheist. I know if I was getting into I went on to the debate channel the other night, and I mean, and I've been on the debate channel show before and try to bring up some, something about the Bible or some type of like spiritual stuff. It's just like, shut down. And that can even happen.
You got attacked.
That can even happen with.
Well, that's
you get attacked for everything on those channels, but even sometimes on the the flat earth stuff, you get attacked for some type of spirituality, because people have not experienced it, and so they don't really know, you know what I mean? They don't know for a fact that there is something beyond the physical. And I'm not saying, I just really feel like there is so much, I mean, and I don't know.
It's hard to explain. I get you, man. And a lot of things, like, we might have labeled it that way, our salvation, or like your enlightening or your awakening, like, to put a label on it, because that's the only way that our human minds can possibly put like an understanding on this. But in my opinion, it's way farther beyond that. That's why I always say, stop observing in 3 dimensions. There's like a lot more facets to what we're dealing with here than just like A, B, C, D. You know what I'm saying? Like atheist, whatever, Christian. There's like 7 religions, 7 races, whatever, something around there. Don't quote me on that, but we're always trying to put labels on things and understand what's happening here. But it might be like, I almost said quasi, so I'm not going to use that word.
Well, I've always, I mean,
just
honestly,
we're all set.
That's what I mean. Was it dude?
I don't spill your blood on anything.
I know that dude the other night got cracked up, man, when I told him. I said, well, I guess we just need to write our blood over a tent and run to the glory hole.
Yeah, don't do that shit. It's all bad, dude.
Doing that shit.
All bad. In my opinion, like, you might like go ahead and
I agree with you,
but in my opinion, that's just like fucking opening up doors you don't want to see, man. I had some bad experiences when I was younger, like messing with freaking books and weird shit. You know what I mean? And that shit's real. Like, and you'd be like, okay, so let me ask you a question. You got people that are atheists putting 666 in chat signs and shit, right? And talking about, pardon my French, talking about like demons and all, and doing the horns and reading into this esoteric knowledge, but you don't believe in the other side. I mean, you can take religion and spirituality all out of it. Cut it down to brass tacks. There's dark and there's light. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone can agree on that, whether you believe in what or not, right? There's a heads and there's a tails. I mean, right?
Yeah.
Every coin, possibly, maybe, hopefully.
Yeah, but there are so many different labels that people
put on them. That's what I'm saying. And is that by design? Is that just to keep us all like running around in like an ant race, or you know what I'm saying?
I think that it's a natural tendency for us to try to differentiate, but at the same time, I believe that there are forces of good and forces of evil, and they exist in another realm or dimension, a spiritual realm or dimension, that we have connections to if you're actually looking for it and willing to accept it. Which
you want to know?
But then really, go ahead, brother.
You want to know what really chaps my hide, sticks in my craw, is when they call there's a reaction to every action, or there's that whole Newtonian physics things. Like, why did he get his name on that thing? That was there way before that happened. You know what I mean? They call it Newtonian, plain old Newton. Like,
Yeah,
like why did
yeah,
they?
that is
Why did they put his
interesting.
name
It's
on
like
that
the yin
fucking
and yang, right?
That shit happened like way before that dude was even, a thought. Like in this,
Well, that's just a thumbnail compared to all the scientism
it's ridiculous.
scientism load of bullshit that they gave us all these years.
And it's weird because they put their little label on something, or whoever they are. But you call it the Jesuits, you call it Illuminati, you call it, Glovers, Splatters, Donuters. But it's just I don't know. I think we just need to. And it's weird when you talk about like it. Oh yeah, you believe that you were saved by like a Jesus Christ entity, and then you talk about like elevating your consciousness, and you're just like, what? Like,
I'll tell you this: when I got saved, and I practiced it for so long, I could have sworn, would have laid down my life saying I would never say I'm not a Christian ever again, ever. I mean, I would have promised to everyone, but I said it earlier, and this is the first time I've professed it publicly.
Well, may I interject?
Yeah.
Did you have like a feeling where you were at before that happened? Did you already know there was something, or you don't have to call it Jesus or say you're a Christian, but did you know there was something?
Oh yeah, there is definitely something, but it took me
it was
a very long process to come to this conclusion about what was happening
at this
to me.
point. Yeah, I get what you're saying, D, but I struggle with that daily too, because like I said, I've gone through like, different I was saying this in chat earlier. We go through different seasons musically. Some we might like to listen to jazz at dinner, and then afterwards, go rock out, with some death or whatever. Grindcore when you're like having tea in the morning just to get you going, or whatever. But it's the same thing I think with people, possibly. It's just different.
As far as spiritual.
Go ahead.
As far as the spiritual process coming, through Christianity, and the reason, one of the main reasons that I would even say something like this is that, experiencing that through a very large church that was part of a large denomination that
I gotta start writing.
It just really, once I really got into studying the deeper things of the Bible and into and discovering, and discovering the connections to Babylonian tradition, and especially the Israeli connection to Babylonian tradition, in which, the Old Testament does expose them for what they were doing, and come back around, and through the book of Judges and through the prophets and everything, that definitely does expose them for what they were doing.
And what's genius about this whole? I'm sorry. May I interject?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. What's nefarious and genius at the same time is that this was written into the text, which is like, this is gonna happen. There's gonna be some point in time where you're gonna deny everything by all the wealth of knowledge that has come out of wherever. Like I said, I'm not a theologian, but I know it says that in there somewhere. That you're gonna deny everything. You're gonna be questioned. You're gonna be ridiculed, and especially in this day and age. I'm not gonna get all weird left field, but www, the VOV thing, and your IP address might be the mark already. Like you just like signed up for like, oh, I'm going to get like $135 a month cable bill. Well, there you go. You're there with your soul, and every kid that watches it in your household. But that's kind of way left field. But You know what I'm saying? Like we're already. I mean,
kind of ties in, but I don't know if I want to get that deep into it.
That's what I'm saying. But I mean,
we're talking about
it's written in there as like a self-fulfilling prophecy, whether you like it or not. You can kind of like correlate it to what's happening. Whether like I said, I'm not like a super religious like crazy freak, and even when I was saying, I still was struggling with a lot of stuff that was said, you know, and a lot of people and a lot of entities within churches, which is more religion than spirituality, because I was already like on like my own path before I was saved. You know what I'm saying? And that was like pretty recently.
How many
Maybe
people,
like 8 years, 9 years,
like
ago.
regular people in church, besides the pastor who had to study the, you know, to do a sermon the next week, he had to read the book, you know, to have a sermon, and he had to know all that stuff. How many people inside the church were really adamant about learning the Word of God?
This is what I'm saying, man. Check this out.
How many? How many?
I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to tell you how many were in my church. I don't know about yours, but check this out. I got in some trouble, right? I had to go to a ranch, right? They're just like, you want to do like, you know, 7 years in prison, or you like want to go do this like ranch thing where you go like, you know, feed emu and donkeys and llamas and raise turkeys and potbelly pigs and shit. And I was like, okay, sure. Okay, I'll do that. And then I went there and I was like totally skeptic, of course. You know, I walk in the door and they're like this, and one of the guys is in there. He was like, his dad was like one of like California Hells Angels chapter member, whatever, but he was saved also, did like a bunch of years in prison. But he's like, you read the Bible, you know Christ? And I said to him the first day I got there, I said, is that where you find Christ? And he's like, what? But anyways, while I was there, I just found, you know, different understanding of things. But I gotta start writing notes down because I kind of get sidetracked. But you were saying something. My bad. Sorry to let you down, guys.
No, you ain't letting nobody down, man. You're sharing your story. That's exactly.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was going somewhere, and then I got sidetracked. My bad.
Well, basically, you got in some trouble. You got sent off to a ranch.
Yeah. Well, I chose to go there. Sure.
And what you were going to tell us was how many people were in your church that were actually looking for spirituality as opposed to going through the practice of religion.
Who just said that?
ADR.
Thank you so much, brother. Hey.
Anthony, by the way, my friends call me Tony. So my whole moniker is Anthony Dean Russo. That's all the ADR stands for.
ADR, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you paying attention, man. Okay, well, while we were getting saved, like you had to go through like we had a home church, right? We'd have to drive all the way down from the ranch up in like the northern hills of like California, some mountainous range, drive down like 45 minutes down to the valley to go to this one church. And that was like our home church or whatever. Before you could go into the main sanctuary, which is like where everyone plays the music and it's all fun, disco lights and whatnot. You know, it's like you get to start talking to people and stuff. And we had to go through like 16 weeks with this one guy. And this guy actually later on, after I had stayed there for almost a year, he tried to bestow like a box of books, of research books on like the person that ran our ranch. And he's like, go pick up these books from like that guy that works down there that tries to anoint people with oil and whatnot. And it turns out this guy didn't want to hold on to his research books anymore. And being the curious guy, I opened the box. And every single book was about like demonology and all sorts of like this weird esoteric shit. And I was just like, well, this guy's like having just as much trouble as anybody. And he's like in a high position of the church to save people that are like broken down to nothing. And they always use this saying, like, when you have pride, it's hard for Christ or God or whatever to work from there. But if you're totally broken and downtrodden, Christ can work from there. And that shit always just rubbed me the wrong way. But in the same sense, I saw this guy who was like in charge of like helping people that were going through recovery or out of jail or prison or whatever their shit was. They had to go through this little room in this giant church, but the guy was actually like, studying all these like fringe topics of demonology and whatnot. And which was really weird to me is like, why did he try to give the person that ran like the Christian camp like church ranch that's up on the mountain, like he's like, oh, I like this, I'm here, have all these demon books. Like that shit always weirded me out. I was just like, well, that guy was obviously didn't want him anymore. But you can't just like adopt like used demon books. Don't even handle them. In my experience, bad news. But it's kind of weird.
That
kind of went left field on you guys there, but
no, but that is really interesting because I've never, well, I mean, I've never experienced something like that in my experience after I quote unquote became saved. I actually was trying to find the deeper knowledge, that was in the Bible, and nobody really, except for people I found on the internet or on the radio or whatever, would, indulge me in that. Nobody personally, you know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, the only way I found the deeper teachings was through media I found on the internet. And I made some great personal relationships, also messed up a few. They messed up a few with me. I mean, that's just life, but
copy that.
But to hear that somebody that was supposed to be one of your spiritual advisors, in Christian faith was looking into demonology and stuff, which was highly discouraged where I was. So that's very interesting.
Well, yeah, it was like a non-denominational church, but seriously, like when I look back at it, I remember when I was at that ranch too in the early days, these guys would come up and they would do like a Bible study like once a week, and we'd have different people on every night of the week, right? And these one cats come up, and once they started getting to like all of stuff and like flat and different like realities of where we're living at, these 2 guys came up there and they were talking about ice core samples from like Antarctica and the real age of the earth. And they didn't want to like come out and be like, oh, yo, it's like this. But when I look at it in retrospect, I'm like, oh, those dudes were like doing some heavy research, but they just didn't want, you know what I mean? They were just like planting seeds kind of. But there were some cats that knew what they were, you can't just like lay it on somebody that's going through like, they're like fresh out of prison. Like, I'm not saying it's me, but there was like a lot of cats in there that were like way worse off than a lot of things that were going on. You know what I mean? Some people caught like a simple beef, but some people were like, third time in time out of prison and whatnot. And you can't just go laying on like, oh, it's like this, but they would play like videos about like, the reality of how old the earth is, and these, and ice core samples, and shows pictures, and just, and it's like, okay, this is supposed to be a Bible study, right? But I was like, I'm digging this, you know what I mean?
Right. And I was into that kind of stuff, but nobody else was. And I was looking into that
like,
type of information.
There, but they're stuck in their little their suit, and they might have like,
it's a social club. I mean, church is a social club.
Yeah,
I mean, they're temples to Baal. They're temples to Baphomet.
Possibly.
They have steeples on their church.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Before I entered there, I was already struggling with things, but I never lost like my inner journey, even though I experienced, salvation or whatever you might want to call it. You know what I'm saying? I had my experience, and I can't deny it, which is, I've talked to, what's his name? Ron, Flat Earth Alaska. We had a really long talk one time about,
I invited him to this hangout too. He didn't respond.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I've only talked to him a few times, but we had a really, really long talk one time about like my experience and like what happened. And like, believe me, like I'm the type of guy that will try to debunk like everything that I did I actually get up and drink that glass of water, or is it like exactly the same level that I thought I woke up and drank it, but I didn't. You know what I mean? I'm like super weird like that. But and the same thing goes with spirituality. But like I said, I never lost like my sense of like looking and questioning and whatnot, even though I might experience these things. But when I did go there,
wrong link.
Hey, Vincent,
what's
man.
up,
What's
buddy?
up, dude?
Hey, what's happening?
Jump in, jump out.
That was hilarious.
He's welcome to come in and talk.
Is Vinny's dropped out? He dropped out. Okay, cool.
He came in. Oh, sorry, wrong link and jumped out.
Don't let me get names in my mouth. Shit.
But hey,
What's
I was wondering because I was gonna put it out there because it just popped out of nowhere. But Poncho, like I don't know why the channel name. I stopped kind of like going there. I'm just gonna say this. No one has to answer. But he was gone. He took a hiatus and then he came back one day. The first day I saw him back, he looked amazing. I don't know where he went.
Yeah.
But damn.
I know where he went.
He went to an insane asylum.
Well,
Yeah,
he
went to an
looking
insane
really good when he got out. You know what I'm saying? That happened to me when I went to freaking Restoration Ranch. You know what I'm saying? I looked really good when I got out. Full circle. All right, on to the next thing. So,
No, we're going backwards. We're having a discussion about our experiences in churches, right?
Right.
Now, you were saying, well, I mean, I had some great experiences, being inside it was a large church, but at the same time, it was there were several people that I made, friends for a lifetime, and their brothers and sisters that no matter what, they will always love me. You know what I mean? And but so, as far as like something like you were talking about, the finding out that you're one of the leaders there was delving into into whatever
I
books.
don't think he was. I don't think he was doing it like on a bad term. I think he's just like a researcher like anybody else, but he didn't put on like that. And you know what I'm saying? He's trying to anoint people with oil and stuff. You heard of the anointing, right?
Yes, yeah. Well,
Or
I
like you do the
I was
anointing.
Pentecostal, man.
So he's trying to do anointing at the same time, like delving into like really dark places. And then while he's trying to save like a group of people, like 60 days, 90 days at a time, 12 people. At one point, like while I was like almost there for like 8 months, they're like, go down to the church and pick up this box from the guy that anointed you. And then I pick up the box, and of course I looked in it, like I said, and it's like and I brought it to the guy that ran the ranch, and he's like, what the F is this? He's like, go take this to the dump or get this out of here right now, which is kind of weird. You know what I mean? But
yeah, it's a little weird.
It's a little weird, right?
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't
weird.
forget it. I remember the
But
whole thing. It's freaking weird, right? And the guy is like, I don't know. You can kind of tell people, especially when you're in a room and you're like sensitive to people. Like, it's really hard to explain. I'm not going to call it an aura or like you're empathic or whatever, but you can kind of like sense people's eyes, feelings, or motives or whatever once you've been around the block a minute. You know what I mean? But
Definitely.
he kind of did rub me a little bit wrong, and like the fact that he's up in this little room like trying to like anoint people, I'm like, well, what gives you the right to do that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I didn't find my salvation through getting freaking anointed by this guy. You know what I'm saying? Which is just another layer on which to think about.
That kind of leads into the point I was just about to make.
Should it?
That if you understand true Christian teaching, if you're going to be everything that the Creator wants you to be, if you're, and it sounds kind of boastful, but this is what I gathered from Christian teaching. You're the redeemed, and this is where like I said, I'm not a Christian anymore, but I have no fear of evil anymore at all. So, and I learned that through my Christian understanding, and even there was, and I'm even though at times I felt I'm committing evil, it's just like I'm not fair. This is me doing this bullshit. I did it, and I'm guilty for it, but I'm not guilty. I don't know. I just now I'm saying too much. It's getting too late.
I get you. What you're saying makes perfect sense to me because it's super confusing these days. There's so much information bombarded at you from, you could say northwest, east, and south, but I think it's more of like on that chaotic 8-pointed star where it's coming at you from every direction, in and out. You know what I'm saying? But what you were saying, like, you're not a Christian anymore, but say if there was somebody who saved you, do you think they still believe in you? And I'm not like trying to come out like all religious.
Well, I feel like I've stepped. I feel like that was a step, a very large step, because I really benefited from learning all those teaching and how to exist in the spirit realm.
There's a lot there in the Bible that doesn't just say it like right out. You know what I'm saying? Like people talk about Bible code and whatnot, and like
you can't understand it, with your general knowledge. You can't just read it and understand it that way.
That's another point I was saying. Everyone has their own path. You understand it your way, right? And a lot of the religious paradigms will not agree with you, and you might be I might be rolling the dice too, like coming out and being like, well, I agree with that and not this, and trying to like pick my own thing, like when I was in the camp or like learning this stuff and being like super involved in church, and it'd be like, you can't be gray. You have to either choose white or black. You can't have your foot in both sides. And I'm like, well, I do that like every day.
Yeah, that's what they tell you. It's like
I'm all gray all day. Like I'm
well,
sorry.
that's actually what it says. That's what it says. That's what it says.
I'm sorry. Like, and if I fall short, like I'm pretty sure I'm forgiven. You know what I mean? But like I said, I'm not like theologian. I just know like my own experience. You know what I mean? And at this point, I have fallen like way, way behind. And if I think about like fellowship and accountability, which is another thing that I taken into account when thinking about where my spirit or like my even path, even if I was an atheist, who you surround yourself with, which could be, I look on both sides. Are all these people just dancing, chanting in tongues, raising hands, and singing songs like a rock band, having laser light shows while they're doing stuff? Or like, am I on my own path and figuring it out and weighing it out on my own scales, which kind of sounds a little Crowley to me, but you know what I'm saying? It's
what the answer is? Yes.
Yes, like everything all at once.
Everybody, man.
It's everything, right? It's it's pure balance, and balance every joy with the greed. It's all gray, baby. I guess it's kind of hard to navigate sometimes, but
that everybody, when somebody tells you they have it all together, they're full of
that's
shit.
Hilarious. It's what's even funnier is when you tell yourself that. Like, I got this. It's like positive reinforcement, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
You kind of got to do both. Like, what I've been I kind of came up with this thing. I've been typing it a lot. I might have said it already. The Schrodinger's cat. Schrodinger's cat, right?
Yeah.
You put the cat in the box, you don't know if it's alive or dead. It could be both at the same time, and that's how like quantum computers are working these days. It's both alive and dead at the same time, which makes perfect sense to me because I'm like all gray. I'm like right in the middle, right? Aren't we all dying the second we get here, and aren't we all living? I don't know. I get a little weirded out sometimes, man.
Well, and it's like some people would think, I am alive, and you know, people could get discouraged if they think, you know, well, there's no afterlife, or what's the only thing that they have to do is leave a legacy here, you know, to mean something, you know, while they're here. And that I really think that is important to, you know, to be encouraged to at least, you know, have people that talk about you, you know, in a positive way after you're gone. So it's because none of us have any proof that there is a spiritual afterlife. You know what I mean?
Maybe you don't, but that's cool.
But
no, here's the thing. I mean, I'm gonna go off on a tangent.
Go ahead, brother.
What we leave behind, like I got to write these things down because I like you start talking and like my mind goes like off on a different tangent. But I've learned how to like deal with it. But we've talked before.
Yeah.
Your father, right?
I'm a father. Yes.
Yes. Blessed be, brother. Listen, you talk about what you leave behind, whether we leave like an empire of, you know, a Trump castle built out of gold, or do we instill upon our young like knowledge and ways of thinking, like things that actually might make it through, you know, gold castles being melted down into dust or whatnot, or they have to burrow down. You know, I think that you like not just for you, but just as any father or any parent, like leaving things behind is like what caught my attention when you were speaking. Is it doesn't necessarily have to be like a mountain full of gold, which really helps kind of sometimes. But you've seen like rich people, you know, there might be rich people in there being like, oh yeah, I'm living fat, you know what I mean? But having all the riches might not make you happy, but knowledge and you know, leading by example, and you know, fortitude, whether it's spiritual, religious or not, there are things that we leave with our young that they hopefully can build upon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely know what you're saying. And that's kind of, that's what I'm saying. You know, I mean, it's kind of cliche to say, you know, you can't take it with you. You know, whatever you acquire, everything, you know, material that you can acquire here in this world, you can't take it with you. But if you die a meager man or even poor, but there's almost nothing that somebody can say bad about you besides you didn't earn enough money, I'll take it, man.
Well, that's what's funny is like, I mean, anyone with like that has a dad or doesn't have a mom, if and a lot in the way that the we've been structured and the way that civilization and humans, there's not so many, you know, conjoined unions anymore. There's less mother and fathers together, and there's, you know what I mean? And have you ever seen that movie Idiocracy, where like the smart people just stopped having kids?
It's my favorite movie.
Right? I haven't seen it, but I know the whole concept, and I've seen like every little short clip I can see.
Well, it's not my favorite movie, but
right.
It's one of them.
I mean, that's exactly what happened, right? I mean,
exactly what's happening right now.
Prophecy? I mean, that's exactly what happened. And I don't know if that's by design or it's like, but it doesn't take like a genius to like look at what's happening to see what's going to happen within the next 10 years. You know what I'm saying? You know, we got this freaking neural net thing going. You got AI that's out of control. They're already trying to like figure out a way to interrogate the artificial intelligence that's making medical decisions for patients, and they don't even understand it. It's like off on its own thing, doing its thing. It's like, well, it's already off and running on, like, it's rogue. How can we like bring it into court, like if something goes wrong? You know, this is happening in the UK because they're already letting these freaking machines.
Well, 70. Let me jump in for a quick second.
Shoot it.
What's going to happen is the rich people will still have real doctors, whereas the poor people, computers.
I'm experiencing that right now. I have a loved one, someone that brought me into this world, right? And she's going through, like, there's no way to describe, like, the inadequacy and what's the word I'm searching for? Like, it's just ineptitude.
The ineptitude of the doctor.
There's like no one's working on the same page. It's like they enter something in a computer and like no one gets a call back and they're like, oh, you got stage 3 cancer? Well, why? And they're, oh, you're going to get this whole team of people to work on you, but everyone's on a different page. And so I'm at the point where I'm thinking, like, well, maybe these things are like, well, what's her probability of success of even like beating this thing? And how are we going to spend our resources depending on what the bank is and like how much we have to spend on that and like this amount of people. And these things are already freaking doing it. They've been doing it for a while now, and it's already run a tangent. You know what I'm saying? So we go back. Go ahead.
70. Let me interject another quick second. The goal of modern medical care is not to cure anyone, but to make them comfortable while their malady overtakes them over time. That is the current state of medical care.
Exactly. I concur.
Especially for older people. They took my mother back in 1990. Okay,
right.
Didn't have a clue. Okay, but I've studied this because I really loved my mother. You know, like, and
yes, sir.
I was really ignorant at the time, but luckily today I'm a lot less ignorant. I can't begin to tell you anything about my experiences other than my current understanding is that too many people, and they realize, the powers that be realize, that the fewer people that there are, the less of a management headache there will be.
Copy that.
Hey Tony, I'm going through the same thing with my mother now. She's not extremely ill, but she is. She goes to the doctor at least once or twice a week. Nurses go out to her house and visit her and all this stuff. She's taking God knows what medications and all this stuff, and they're switching them up on her all the time. She feels like shit all the time. And I always tell her, you know, I don't always tell her because she gets tired of hearing it, but I don't ever go to the doctor. I probably should. My blood pressure is high, I know that, but I'm not going to take any statins for that. Just eat some freaking tomatoes and drink less beer, maybe. I don't know. But
it's hard.
I don't trust the freaking doctors, man. It's a poisonous. It's a freaking. You just get put into a meat grinder, you know. Unless you have some just really heinous injury, I would avoid. I would avoid going to there. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you should go, I guess, get checked up. I'm not going to say that you shouldn't get your vitals checked and make sure that you're okay, which I can check my own damn vitals and make sure. I mean, yes, my blood pressure's high. That's pretty much the only thing I got going on with me, which is not bad for 44 years old, you know, shit. Yeah. Don't ever go to the doctor.
Well, this whole thing of going to the doctor is directly in response to them teaching you how not to take care of yourself. To take care of yourself, you wouldn't have any need for a doctor, and then you wouldn't have any need to replenish the hospital industrial. And don't get me wrong, there's good people that are purposefully kept ignorant as to what's really going on in most of the hospitals. I have a registered nurse, okay, and she sees every day that they don't treat people like she would treat people, and she doesn't quite understand what's going on because she's still too young. She just turned 30. Okay.
Yeah.
If you're an old salt like myself, you after a while you see things, man, and you even get over the point where you're going like, I must be nuts. This can't be how it works. You realize one day you wake up, oh my God, this is exactly how it works.
Exactly. Yes, it's a for-profit system. I mean,
Well,
like if I were to go to the doctor with high blood pressure, you know what he's going to do? He's going to prescribe me a statin drug to get my high blood pressure down, and I'm not going to take it. Yep. So there's no point in going. So, and I'll just be spending money.
They give you
for him.
There's
something I already know.
Yep. For any drug, so many deleterious side effects that you're actually better controlling your own diet and taking responsibility for yourself. How can I stay healthy longer?
And that doctor, that's the last thing he's going to tell you. The last thing. Well, he might just say, eat less salt. You should probably do this. You should probably do that. But we'll just put you on these drugs. And when the side effects kick in, we'll put you on another drug to take care of that side effect. And cha-ching, cha-ching, right. Cha-ching.
Yep. Right. Yep.
3 sons.
I'm sorry, ADR, to cut you off on there, but I mean that's just the bottom line. It's a for-profit organization that's not there to help you. It's there to, and they train the doctors in relationships, personal relationships, so that they seem happy and they seem. But actually, most of the time, if I ever see a doctor, it's just for like 2 minutes. You don't even have any personal relationship with the doctor. You might with the nurse. But so it's
they're getting worse and worse these days too. Super impersonal.
That's what I heard because I don't ever go anymore.
Like I was saying,
as 70 said, he said, like, that whole AI thing has run amok, and I've watched videos on it where basically the lesser people get assigned a computer that diagnoses you. Hello?
Exactly.
That's idiocracy, man. You remember when they walked in there and he pushed a button and they had the thing he stuck on his butt or something, and he's just like, and he got it in the wrong. One of these stuck in his mouth and one he's supposed to stick in his butt. And he got him wrong first, and then he was like, "Oh shit." You know what I'm saying? You remember that?
That shit's happened, brother, and it's probably been happening for a while.
I have to confess that I haven't seen the movie Idiocracy, and I rely on my fellow flat earthers' 9 points because I refuse to subject myself to the indoctrination of having to watch all the crap that they're dreaming up.
Well, I'm going to watch it again just for you, okay?
Let me interject.
Julio, I appreciate that, brother.
May I interject, please?
Yes, absolutely.
I am plugged for way too long, and I got like cyber dumb. You know what I'm saying? Like I can barely operate like a browser, but there's stuff that is in there, especially if you're like into decoding stuff and finding esoteric messages in movies and doing all that shit. I get a kick out of that. But when you watch these like main time shows or anything, there are polluted with medicinal drugs that are pretty much all just brand new. And it's like, oh, you're suffering from bipolarism, depression? We'll take this medicine, but it might make you want to die. And it might make you, the list of side effects are so much worse. And they go on and on and on. Like, for like, say the commercial's 30 seconds, it's like, you have this problem, take this. That's like 5 seconds. The rest of the video is like 25 seconds of what this might do to you. It might actually, it's asinine. Like Helio was talking about side effects and prescribing drugs to counteract the side effect of the drug they gave you the side effects. And it's just,
that's how it works. Yep.
It's nasty, man. It's like, and I got, like I was saying, 3 sons.
Dude, they're not here to help us. No, they're here to profit from our misery.
It's rough, man. And we're deep in it. We're like right up in the, like, I don't know how farther it can go before like the thing pops at the top. You know what I mean? It's like a volcano.
Well, the bottom line is they taught us to be stupid about taking care of ourselves so that they can rape us for the money. Okay. And there's always time. All right. Maybe not for some, like I lost my mother and my father's passed away too, but, there's always time to save yourself, and I think anybody that's involved with the flat earth topic or a truther, they're looking into like, well, what's the right way to feed myself? Should I eat meat? Should I not eat meat? Should I eat plants? Should I not eat plants? How much should I eat? How often should I eat? You know, like, is there rules? Do I have to eat 3 meals a day, or should I eat when I'm hungry? Should I fast for a couple days out of the week? You know, like eat very little. My cues from animals out in nature. I happen to live in New England, and I'm living in a pretty rural area, and I get to observe what's going on in nature. I mean, I did my time in cities. I was in the Navy 35 years ago. But, you know, it just never stuck with me, okay? Life is easy, and taking care of yourself, and you can live to a nice, ripe old age, okay, in the physical sense, if you're not engaging in the bad behavior that they teach us to engage in, okay?
Copy. Roger.
Yeah. It's really pretty easy, but yourself from their mental programming is the hardest part. And I really did not make really good progress until I was about 49. The past 10 years has been great, and the past 2.25 years in the flat earth ideology, tremendous. I mean, I sleep very peacefully. I need less sleep. It's just great, you know, and I've settled all my accounts with my 30 years of being a Christian. I was baptized as a Catholic, a communed, confirmed, and I just intrinsically felt that there was something wrong with all that crazy. And I'm the happiest that I've ever been in my life. And, you know, for people that are younger than me, you guys, you know, just keep thinking for yourself, you know, and don't swallow their bullshit, and you're going to be a lot better off in the end.
I appreciate that, man.
End of speech.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Hey, I'm gonna put like a cherry on the top of this for the like the medical thing. My dear mother, like I said, stage 3. She's got some serious like inoperable stuff going on, and they're like, but here's the thing: what's is weird.
Are they giving her chemo and radiation already?
No, we're at the point where like we're trying to weigh out if that's even like because they're like, you would want to take lymph nodes out and test them, but then once you take the lymph node out, it's not like there's nothing to protect that part of your face or something.
Exactly.
So like, oh, you test it and it's negative, so now you lost that thing and you can't put it back in. Right. And then they're like, well, we got to see how far it goes, and then we're going to go from there. And I'm just like, nah, that sounds pretty fucked up to me.
It's the whole problem is how far is your mom programmed into the system?
No, she's doing better now. She's been offered like all these like way out things where they're just like, they don't even tell her like up or down the consequences, and like you could like lose all like feeling if we have to like open your face up and take all these nodes out. And it's like, that's, if you look it up on like the cancer research site or whatever, it's not even proven like at a maybe 5% rate to extend like your life expectancy. So these people are just getting money to rip open your face and take all this stuff out to like hone their skills, while it doesn't extend any life whatsoever, and it actually causes more damage in the long run than like if you just like try to, you know, just take out what's there. You know what I mean? Like if it's like a skin cancer or whatnot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But 70, what I want to know is how much do they own your mother's mind, and how brave is your mother? You know, and
she's brave. We talk. I mean, she's, you know, what's funny is it took me like years for her to come around. You know what I mean? But she calls me every day going like, have you heard about this? Like, she knows what's happening, man. It took me a while. And what I wanted to bring up when I even brought that back up is the fact that she worked for the AG office, like Attorney General, state of California, right?
Yep.
And then here's the thing. They give you a fat ass pension and you go to their doctors for fucking however so many years. And then guess what? You get your pension at 65. It's party time. Oh, psych. You got fucking cancer. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, was that by accident? Like, I could be all conspiracy tarted out, but I mean, it just, you know what I'm saying? They don't have money to like pay all those freaking pensions out. So, you know what I mean? And the doctors are fucking shady as hell. I mean, it's hard to ignore. And she knows what's up. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, we document, you know, and I even feel weird about talking on this little device I'm talking on. You know what I mean?
I hear
we talk about like, oh, you got dry skin, like on the phone. And then the next day we got like YouTube fucking videos going, oh, you got dry skin? Oh, try this lotion. Oh, you want to cook like artichokes and, you know, it's like in steam. And then all of a sudden it's like, I didn't even type that. It's like, you know what I mean? These things are nuts. They're off the chain. It's like they're gone rogue. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah,
trying to be all doomsday, but shit.
No, I understand, but basically you have to, and this happened to me over time, is that I was fully within the system for a long time, but the only thing I can offer you is that there's hope, and what you do is on a daily basis is you remove yourself as much as you can, steps, and over time, in reasonably short order, leaving the system increases day after day, and it gets easier to leave it as you practice leaving it, if you get what I'm saying. There is a perfectly good life available to you outside of the matrix, which they're trying to encapsulate everyone in. Okay? I mean, there is still a genuine life out there, okay? And I'm an example of it, okay?
I concur.
Yeah, so, you know, always keep up your hope, because that's what they're working on. That's what they want to break. You to capitulate. They want you to give in to them, period. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I appreciate that, Tony.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's rough out here, man. Ain't no denying it.
Well, it's rough everywhere, but this is like, you know, I'm not going to say it's a last chance, but it's high time that we started conscious about how things work. And for the last 2.25 years, I've been doing that within the flat Earth idea. I used to get horribly depressed, seeing, you know, what's going on in the world. And this all started out as a little child. I was born into basically shame. My mother and father, my mother was previously married to someone else, and my father came along. He was in the Air Force and produced me. So I was the reason why that these two people were getting all kinds of shame from society, because they produced a child. And my mother, like church, was basically like for being a divorced woman. So, I mean, you know, the madness just is incredible. But I had to grow up under this and the aggression that my parents showed to each other as a result of society telling them that they were not good people. So they had to grow up and realize that, well, we're good enough people, and maybe society is a little messed up. But at the same time, they had like 5 kids, and the kids were expected to conform to the norms of society. It's just this incredible ongoing hamster cage operation where people's minds, before people have a chance to get off the ground and think for themselves.
Yeah, it's quite disgusting. At the same time, it is our reality. We have to I don't know what we have to do. Either we conform or we regress or digress or progress. It's a very tough thing to figure out, and especially in your common relationships with people at this point, knowing how corrupt the system is, but watching them feed into it, and actually, like I was in a chat. There was I don't know if it was IPS or someone. There was, people would say, what if it is fake? Whatever the news, whatever fake, false flag stuff. What if it is? That people don't have anything to do with it. If you watch the news and you believe that shit, you are complicit in the big lie, and you are part of it. If you believe it, then you're talking to someone else about it, and you completely support it, and whatever else they say on the news is going to affect you in that way. If they put some type of fake material on the news and you believe it and accept it, then whatever news might come after that you believe and accept, then you're going to it's going to affect you and the rest of your family. And if you're not looking for these kind of things, it probably will benefit you because you're exactly where they want you. But if you're looking at it and calling bullshit on it, you're not going to be very comfortable. So
yeah, but we can take a lot of abuse, but it's my contention that you're going to be a lot more comfortable calling it out.
Oh, I'll call it out, but I'm saying that people won't listen to me. They still believe it's real, and then they base their life around whether or not that news story was real that they saw.
Yeah, well, see, that's the number one problem is, perhaps we shouldn't be waking up people to the concept of a flat earth. Maybe we should be waking them up to the evils of television, radio, books. I mean, I grew up in the era where the only way you got books was through major publishers, and guess what? Those major publishers were controlled. I've learned my history, real history, and the whole reason for public libraries and public education was not to help us; it was to control us.
Exactly, and that's the same way with religion as well, and that's what we were kind of getting into earlier.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's all about control systems, and I have to confess to you that I was so sucked into it, even, in the past few years. For me, these ideas of seeing the religiosity, basically, of all the different religions, centrisms, since the advent of this guy IPS, that, my eyes were opened, and he inserted toothpicks into my eyelids and opened them wider, and I can even see better today.
Ouch.
Yesterday. Okay. No, I'm serious though. I mean, as soon as you think that you're awake, you've lost, because every day that you live, you're waking up more and more to the silly shit that they're pulling on us.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know. It's just amazing. These people are not here for our benefit. We are their herd in their minds. People might be thinking they're doing economically well, and they have their life together, but guess what? I mean, the whole money system, religion. Okay.
Yeah, they will watch. That's what I'm saying. They'll watch a news program or which would be Bulls and Bears on Fox News or whatever, and they believe, and they can actually benefit from that if they follow the system, and that's how you benefit. You sell out to the system, but they don't know it's corrupt. They just really think it's something like that. Or the same thing, they'll watch Bulls and Bears, and then they'll watch the nightly news after that, and whatever it says, there may be some attack in Paris, France is fake, and they're going to believe it, and they're going to vote for the next president's going to go to war against Syria because of this fake freaking terrorist attack they saw on television, and that's just a minor thing. Everything they think big and they think small, so it's all already been prepared for us. All that our decisions are already thought ahead of it. And even us talking now on this live broadcast, talking about, exposing their deceptions, is they already knew that we were going to be doing this, because they're and I don't know. They're already listening to all of it. They know who we are and all that shit. But I mean, there's no other way to fight it at this point.
Exactly. So it brings up the whole point, Helio, of you coming out saying that I have no fear. It was some years ago where I realized my best day in this life, I have to sacrifice myself at some point in time. Okay. And I want to make it the appropriate point in time. And my idea of living a great life is taking bastards with me. Okay. Yeah. And that's boiling it down to the very basics, but that's how it goes. Other good in the meantime, well, that's just great, but you have to be willing to give totally of yourself that you think is a proper cause.
Well, I'm kind of still trying to figure out how to get what little knowledge I have on the subjects out there, and to the system. I really look at it, and the system goes deeper than I can even put in words. The system that I'm describing, the corrupt system of control, I can't put it in words.
I've lived it. I've lived it, brother, and I've studied it for the past 25. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I got some good news.
That's good. That's good.
I got really good news.
Okay.
Check this out. Back to the three sons. Okay. I'm sure we all came from a human mother, father. We might have lost some. I have. Definitely. Tony has. Helio, Dennis. Oh. Listen, if you look even just at the panel, we have probably, roughly speaking, 3 generations of people that are at least aware of what's happening on some level or not, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think we went through our birthdays earlier, but we don't need to rehash it. But it looks, and I see this a lot. I'm sure you have too. A lot of younger people are coming onto this, and so that's good news in a sense, right?
Well, I'm very happy with this conversation tonight, because we've got 13 people right now. We had 15, upwards of 18 people to us talk reality. Okay. And, we didn't change the world tonight, but we started. So, and there's millions of other from time to time that I'm aware of, and many that I'm not aware of. And the reason that people have these hangouts is because they care, and they want to express themselves. And I think it serves to really buoy everybody up that's listening. And, this thing is going to get recorded, and somebody is going to stumble across it and go, motherfuckers, they're right on. So I think it's a win-win tonight.
Or at least a part of our conversation is going to connect with them in one way or another.
Absolutely.
Because
I really appreciate you guys sharing this time. I haven't been on in like a long time. You know that, D. And Tony, it was nice to meet you. Seriously.
Yeah, I've seen you around for a very long time, but I think I made outstanding progress by, getting to be on a hangout with you and hearing your.
Yeah, I had a good time, gentlemen.
Excellent. Well,
Wicked good.
I guess since nobody else is going to jump in, and this wasn't even supposed to happen. I guess it was supposed to happen because we had a great conversation. And I have to work in like 3 hours.
No, you got to get some sleep. So I'm going to bail, but Ebony, it was really nice meeting you, and Helio, talking to you, Helio.
Tony.
Yeah.
And
man, I appreciate you guys coming on and filling the time, because I just didn't know what, after Candy's broadcast dropped twice, I was like, oh man, this sucks. And,
I'll try to play some music if you guys bounce out, but I don't know how good it's going to sound. I don't have a direct line in.
Oh, you're a musician too. That's cool. Yeah, I don't know. There's so many creative types, so that's cool. I say that I play an instrument, but oh well. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
You speak very well, man. Don't worry about it. That's your instrument.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Tony, man. Thank you for coming in. I really appreciate it.
Destined to happen, man. You know, so whatever. It's all good.
Yeah. You gonna play guitar?
Get you guys some battle helmets because it's gonna get rough.
Man, I'm ready. Man, I've been ready. I've been ready for this for a long time because I had no other way to figure out how to fight the system. But I feel like I have people now that are with me, even though we don't all agree on all kinds of things. It's just amazing to be able to have conversations with people that are actually looking to find answers, and at the end of it, I mean, okay, so say we take them down. Well, who's going to have the best idea to build the new system? I don't freaking know, man. But at least that this corrupt bullshit won't be happening anymore. I don't know if it might be worse. I don't freaking know. But.
Well, see, Dennis, what I've trained myself is I don't worry about tomorrow. I put all my energy in the right now. That's why I'm up at 5:44 in the morning talking to a couple of guys and having ideas. And I'm good with that, man. I mean, you know, this was a day for me, so it's all good. Where it's going to go, I have no idea, but I have to try. So,
yeah.
Is 70 going to grace us with some tunes or what?
Maybe. I don't know how it's going to sound.
Go ahead, kick it up, brother.
Hey, Dennis, thanks for providing the platform, man. Keep it going.
That's no problem.
It's probably going to sound awful.
Oh, just play it. It'll be great.
It's not
play
a
us
song.
Out there.
It's just noises.
70. Go ahead, play us out.
All right, here we go. What is this? Hold on a second. Oh, this is all bad. Can't get my camera on. Here we go. You get any audio on that?
Nope.
Put the little homie under here.
The suspense.
I think both of you guys should jam us off the program.
Well, I have to hear what he's going to play first before I even try to pick up my guitar.
I hear you.
What you got there?
it's about to get for the nest. What?
Standing.
That was trippy.
It worked. All right, guys, I'm out. I got to get some Z's so I can recharge. Take care.
Hey, what happened there?
I haven't checked it. I mean, ADR checked out.
No, I was just wondering if you caught any of the audio. Over.
Well, I heard it.
Good.
I'm pretty sure it came across, but right when I started,
good,
I turned it up.
It looked like right when I was done, it's like you're sharing now.
No. I shared it like I presented. I presented like 2 minutes ago, like about 30 seconds after you started doing your thing. I presented to everyone.
Sweet.
Yeah, so that, you're
might have sounded like crap.
No, it was trippy, man. It was weird. I didn't know what you were gonna do, but I liked it.
Right.
Well, yeah.
About to turn in. You gotta go to work. Man.
Yeah, I should have been asleep for like 5 hours ago.
Isn't that funny? Like I do the same thing. Like I'll be like, I gotta go to bed right now, and then I'll go check like who's on, and I'll be like, oh shit, I just stayed like 4 hours up past my bedtime.
And it's like, but if I sit and chat, I will stay up for a couple hours late. But if I actually get on and talk, I'll stay up all freaking night.
Right. At least there's some humanity left in the cyber world, right?
Yes.
Hey, D, thanks. Like I said before, like keep doing this if you can, if you if it's within your means.
I want to, man. Actually some of the subjects we got into earlier are things that I want to get into deeper. When I have a couple of other people that I want to talk about those things in mind, and so I'll be trying to contact them in the near future, and then you're welcome to join and on the panel and listen, whatever, or throw your feedback, because there are a lot of people that have been that have experienced those times inside Christianity that are that have, I won't say come out of, because you never really come out of it once you understand. That's what I was saying. So many people come into, it's very frustrating, especially meeting so many people in flat Earth that are from a totally different spiritual perspective or some kind of generalized version of Christianity, and without being involved in the fundamental aspects of Christianity and trying to practice and really studying it. It's really, and they're I don't know. They're,
you don't even have to say anything. I get you.
Justifiably sometimes vitriolic against Christian because of religion, not because of the teachings, not because of the true teaching. You know what I mean?
Like I said, everyone's got their own path, man.
Exactly, but we all need to kind of come together instead of
for sure
making more divisions of Christian flat earthers and
holy shit.
Back and we might as well be Christian ball earthers,
is that a thing? There's like different there's a different. Well, I know that like people have said like, oh, I learned, I was like, I became Christian because I learned about flat Earth, but I've heard that. But is there like different denominations of flat earthers? There's probably different denominations of any model you can think of, probably.
As far as the public profile on YouTube, from what I understand so far, there are denominations of flat earthers by personality so far, and some of it by belief or understanding or just similar interests. But from the Christian perspective, versus the versus what some of the things that have been going on, the Gnostic perspective, in my opinion, that kind of it can be very divisive, and it's not necessary if we all have a common understanding of how this all came about. And so I want to kind of bridge that gap and help everyone to understand how to get along, whether you want to go one path or the other. Or
That's cool. I think like a lot of like all of us that were on the panel, like at least when I joined, there's like maybe you, me, and Tony.
Yeah.
We might not agree on everything, but we managed to talk about stuff and just chill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hash some things out. So
yeah. Oh yeah.
It doesn't always have to be a freaking debate or a freaking argument. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that's.
I mean, we can do that too.
I don't like to argue. That's my. I freaking hate to argue with people.
You get enough of that in the real life,
I refuse to argue with people.
Right.
So, anyway.
Copy that. No, but seriously, thank you for hosting the.
Man, you're welcome, man. You're welcome on here anytime. I don't know how often I'll be able to do it, but I'll probably do it more often. You know, if people want it, you know, I'll do it because but like I said, I want some of these subjects to be discussed at length, you know, with people that are knowledgeable and interested in especially when it comes to, you know, history about, you know, Christian religion, you know, the meaning of the Bible, and like I said to ADR earlier, the modern Christianity and the modern Christian church, especially in America, and their Israel worship really disturbs me because they are totally ignorant of what's really going on with that, and it is destroyed, in my opinion, the what Christian ideology really is about. And so I'd really be interested in hearing other, you know, devout Christians' opinions about that. So that's one thing I want to get into. Anyway, guess someone will wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. Whatever. I'm not a broadcaster. I'm winging it. Thank everybody for stopping by, and thank you, 70-second human, for coming on. You gotta have any content on your channel that you want to talk about? Did you already drop off? I guess he's already gone. All right, guys. I'm gonna end this broadcast. Let me know what you thought of it. Apparently, there were more people that gave me thumbs down and thumbs up. Let me refresh the page. Maybe it jumped the other way. No, it actually went down. Somebody unliked it. No, wait. There we go. I'm kind of proud of that, actually. I'd rather have more thumbs down than thumbs up. So thank all you thumbs downers for thumbing me down. Just encourages me. It actually inspires me. So thank you very much.